Hi, Lola-Isabella. This is my informative speech. The Valentine's Day that many celebrate worldwide is centered around the love you have for another person or people. The exchange of flowers, candy, cards, and other items that may symbolize love is a practice many partake in on the day of February 14th. But as many do not know, the origins of what we now know as Valentine's Day is very different. But there are multiple legends on how this holiday came to be. From how society celebrates Valentine's Day now, the French, Romans, and the English have different backstories on how they commemorated this holiday. I find the topic of Valentine's Day very interesting, and I've researched the history of this holiday intensely. First, I will discuss how the main point of origin in the holiday is hard to decide on, but I'll start with the Romans. Secondly, I will discuss the different ways St. Valentine is thought to be connected to the holiday. Finally, I will discuss how it came to be celebrated in the way it is today. Although the origins of Valentine's Day are credited to many places, most believe it began with the Romans and a feast they celebrated. In ancient Rome, men would hit the woman physically in order to figuratively hit on them. During the 13th to the 15th of February, Romans celebrate the feast of Lupercalia. This feast honored the god Faunus, which was the god of agriculture, which the original intent was to support good crops. But over time, this pagan feast came to be men sacrificing a dog and a goat, then whipping the woman with the animal hides. The woman would be naked and the men would be drunk, and they believed this would make the woman fertile. This celebration would then conclude with a lottery for matchmaking. Men would draw a woman's name and they would celebrate together at the feast and maybe even stay together after if it was a right fit. It is then thought that a pope established this feast for St. Valentine to Christianize the celebration. Now that I've discussed how the Romans had a feast linked to the holiday, I will now discuss the way St. Valentine is attributed to the holiday. St. Valentine has many legends as to how it is connected to the holiday. Many Catholics believe in two legends with St. Valentine. The first being a Roman emperor was executed two men around the date of February 14th who were later declared saints. The first man, named Valentine, was beheaded in the 3rd century, and no one could really say why and what he did to get himself beheaded. And then a second man, also named Valentine, was a bishop in Italy, and he was executed in the same century but different year. This man practiced Christianity in jail, and before he went to jail, he would perform secret illegal weddings, because that was at the time where Christianity was not a thing and it was outlawed. This Valentine from Italy also healed the sick, so he was kind of very Christianized, and then both were accredited sainthood and were celebrated for their martyrdom around February 14th. Now that we learned the theories of how St. Valentine is linked to the holiday, I will discuss how the holiday transitioned to how it is viewed now. It wasn't until the end of medieval times that Valentine's Day became about the celebration of love. Various customs began around the world for Valentine's activities. In Italy, couples would gather to take walks and listen to music or poetry in their way to celebrate. And then the French declared a court of love on Valentine's Day that handled marriages. Then in the 1700s, Great Britain began exchanging words of affection to one another on this holiday, and that's how it really began, that you would say oh, I love you, and you're my Valentine to each other. And in the US, the holiday became widely commercialized. Esther A. Howland, a businesswoman in the 1800s, began selling and mass-producing Valentine's Day cards. And it wasn't until the 1860s that heart-shaped boxes and symbolism for love began increasing worldwide. Even today, Cupid, the flowers, color red, hugs and kisses, stuffed animals, and more all regularly appear during the holiday celebration and exchange between lovers. So, today I discussed the Roman feast about matchmaking, which is thought to be part of the origin on Valentine's Day. Secondly, I discussed the two main theories on how St. Valentine is recognized for the creation of Valentine's Day. And finally, I discussed how society has changed the holiday to how it's celebrated today. With the different backstories of how Valentine's Day was celebrated to today, a lot has changed. In conclusion, the drastic difference between the origin of Valentine's Day to how it is celebrated today is insane. Society has changed the perception of a holiday, and many do not even know that is how Valentine's Day began. My references are Valentine's Day, A Brief History and Game from the Library Database by Maxwell, The Dark Origins of Valentine's Day from npr.org by A. Sequel, and The Mysterious History of the Real Saint Behind Valentine's Day from the database by O.B. Waxman. And this is my visual aid. A bear you would give